Today for our daily cancellation, we're going to be canceling everybody on the left celebrating the Kamala Harris VP pick because they can't celebrate it. It doesn't make sense for them to celebrate it. But you see, this is a common problem. One of the most prominent characteristics of leftists in modern America is their complete inability or unwillingness to apply their principles consistently, especially in their personal lives. Now, you see stark illustrations of this problem provided, for example, by the climate alarmist who warns of an impending apocalypse but still maintains a 401k, the pro-abortion zealot who congratulates a pregnant woman despite believing her to be infested by a subhuman parasite. Of course, there are also the well-worn examples of the socialist tweeting about the pitfalls of capitalism on his iPhone, the progressive politician preaching about the evils of guns while flanked by a squadron of armed security. So all of that, it seems that, if not for cognitive dissonance, many on the left would not have any cognition at all. Nowhere is this dynamic more obvious and glaring than in the arena of gender. Leftist gender ideology contradicts itself in so many places that you feel yourself nearly going insane just trying to make sense of all of it. And I think that's by design, by the way. It's not one coherent theory, but a chaotic web of declarations and doctrines, each asserting itself without any apparent awareness of the others. One example at random. We're told that sexual orientation is immutable, cannot be changed, right? We're also told that gender is fluid and can easily be changed. These two things cannot be true at the same time. If a gay man decides to identify as a woman, then either we must say that he is no longer gay since he's now a woman attracted to a man, or he is not actually a woman. If he's no longer gay, then sexual orientation can be changed. If he's not actually a woman, then gender is not fluid. See, there are only three options here. Either sexual orientation cannot be changed, and neither can gender, or sexual orientation can be changed, and so can gender, or sexual orientation can be changed, but gender cannot be changed. Any of those are logically possible, though only one is scientifically and factually correct. But the theory that sexual orientation is immutable while gender is fluid is a logical impossibility. Somebody making such a claim might as well defend the inherent roundness of rectangles or the fundamental dryness of water. It is logically contradictory. It cannot be true. The leftist confusion about gender and about what their own view on the subject is supposed to be has been especially on display ever since Joe Biden, of course, announced Kamala Harris, like we talked about, as his pick for vice president. There are other, funny and hypocritical things about the pick too, of course, such as the fact that Harris will now be working under and subordinate to a man that she tearfully denounced as a racist not even a year ago. But the greater point is that the media's ecstatic reaction to a woman VP pick is belied by the rather serious problem that women don't technically exist, according to leftist ideology. According to them, the word woman has no discernible meaning. A woman is not necessarily a person with XX chromosomes and female reproductive organs. A woman is not defined by anything physical, nor neurological, nor psychological, nor behavioral. A woman is not defined by anything, which is to say that a woman isn't anything in particular. Woman, by the light of the left's philosophy, is an arbitrary concept. It has no substance. It is not objective. It can mean anything and be anyone. If you think I'm overstating the case here, then just approach any leftist currently extolling the woman vice presidential nominee and simply ask them what they mean when they say woman. They will not be able to answer the question. They cannot define the word, and I mean literally cannot. Their ideology won't allow it. Now, if you do pose this question, the eternal question that I have been posing to leftists for years now, the most likely response will be a deflection accusing you of being a transphobe or whatever, but, of course, not actually answering the question. You may, however, be presented with some kind of attempt at an answer. So let's go through a couple. Here's a common one, one that I've heard many times. A woman is an adult human female, which, yes, this part is correct. This is the actual answer. You win the prize. Congratulations. Adult human female. That's what a woman is. But then they'll continue, an adult human female or anyone who identifies as an adult human female. Now our coherent and correct definition has been thrown into chaos. Because this definition is just another way of saying that a woman is an adult human female or not an adult human female. Woman has no definition if that is the definition. A thing cannot be what it is and also what it isn't. This is like saying that a tree is a tree or anything that looks like a tree. So a drawing of a tree actually isn't a drawing of a tree because it is the thing that it's a drawing of? That makes no sense. A similar problem for people who say trans women are women. Okay, then why do you call them trans? What does the trans part denote? Is there in fact some notable difference between trans women and non-trans women? If so, then the two groups are fundamentally different. But if you say they are not fundamentally different, then it doesn't make any sense to differentiate them the way that you already do in the way that you refer to them. So none of this makes any sense. You might also be told that words like woman and man are on a spectrum. Okay, then tell me about this spectrum. What is on either side of this spectrum? Define the people who exist on the extreme ends of the woman side and the man side. If someone is on the spectrum between man and woman, what does that mean? Between what and what? So you can't escape the definition problem by talking about spectrums. If the spectrum takes us from one undefinable thing to another undefinable thing, then it is not a spectrum. It is more like a black hole where all sense and reason and the very laws of science break down into nothingness. So what exactly does a man mean when he says, I identify as a woman? What is a woman? Is a woman in the end just anyone who enjoys feminine things or dresses in a feminine way? Well, that can't be it, because we can't define feminine until we have defined the word woman. The definition of feminine is hinged on the definition of woman. Also, this definition would turn a lot of women into non-women and a lot of non-women into women. Besides, the left has been trying to break down these societal constructs of feminine versus masculine for years now. Surely you can't go from not all women should be expected to be feminine to the only defining characteristic of womanhood is femininity. So what is a woman? They have no answer. As leftists, though, they are obliged to celebrate the achievements of women, even as they are obliged to also deny the objective existence of women. This is the paradox that we are expected to pretend we don't notice. But we should notice it, because it reveals the basic incoherence of leftist gender ideology. It's not, see, this is what I want people to understand. It's not just scientifically wrong. It is scientifically wrong. It is also logically impossible what they are, the things that they are asserting and contending make no logical sense. And that's the most important part of this. And because of all of that, they're canceled. Who am I canceling? I guess the left in general I'm canceling. Sort of redundant. I cancel them every day, but just to be clear, canceled again on the Matt Walsh Show. And we're going to leave it there on that note. Have a great day, everybody. Godspeed. Hey, you. You right there. Hit the subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It's somewhat appreciated.